What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Backliners podcast. It's Aggro and Barracuda as per usual, and you may notice that I'm getting better with putting people in the right spots on the overlay, and you'd be right, because I've remembered which side is which on my Discord overlay, so I'm killing it. And our guest, who is sitting in the middle, appropriately, where his name is supposed to be, is none other than Barracuda's former coach. It's Ro, joining the show. Ro, thanks so much for hopping on, man. Glad to have you.
Came here to talk about why Barra kicked me, and we're going to get to the bottom of it today.
Oh, yes, we've ambushed you, Barry. Yes, we've ambushed you.
No!
It is about time we figure it out. That is...
It's a drama episode, dude.
Yes.
This is why you didn't tell me.
It's a drama
You had
episode.
a big weekend, it's about to get a lot worse.
Oh.
Yeah, let's start right
Unlucky,
at the beginning. What is Mask doing better than Ro ever did?
Just
answer that question.
Just everything, top to bottom, there's just
Ro,
everything.
you can lie to Mask later, bro. Mask's probably not watching.
I thought this was a drama episode.
Well, yeah, but we want to stir up drama that you miss Ro. Like, that's more dramatic.
I mean, I do, obviously. I love Ro.
When I drop into chat, he's like, oh, hey, bro, I miss you. So that's all I need in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're getting
And
better
I
now,
love you.
boys.
You can say that, too. You can say that. Okay,
I'm not that public.
No, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, come on. You know Ro's PDA rules are very strict, Barra, so you've got to adhere to those. Just a couple weeks without you, Ro, and he forgets all of your preferences. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
I'm sorry, dude. It's just... I'm just being thrown under their bus, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of my new bit, Barra, is throwing you under the bus. I did it with Destiny. I'm doing it now with Ro.
I know.
I think it's going well for me, and I should just keep going. Is what I've decided.
You don't even ask me like who's gonna be on the podcast anymore. Like you just tweet Rose on the podcast.
Rose on the podcast. Okay. Hey, bro.
That's what blindside you.
Well, just for once, I thought ahead. I asked a person. They said that they would. Then something came up for them, so they could not. But Ro had messaged me this weekend very kindly and said, hey, throwing my hand up in case you ever need anyone for the podcast, I'd be interested. And he had a hand raised emoji, or so he thought, but what he actually sent me was the middle finger raised emoji. So it was like so funny. Hey, here's a hand in case you ever need anyone. Middle finger.
Real quick, I was like, yo, wrong emoji, my bad.
No, I thought you should have left it. Were you? How did I respond? Oh, it's on Discord, so I can't check right now. I finished our conversation with a middle finger emoji.
I thought that was the funniest part. Yeah.
Oh,
that was great. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was taken well, because I was like, man, he felt bad for sending me a middle finger emoji, and then I just sent him one back immediately. So
yeah.
I hope he knows that I'm trolling as well. But I think that's a safe assumption with me. All the time. Guys,
especially when you're throwing me under the bus, Sorry.
Well, no, that's not trolling. I take that very seriously.
Okay, that's fine.
Speaking of trolling, I'm trying to start a culture among the high-res playtesting group. Sometimes we test, there are times where we're testing for conquest balance or new god and all that kind of stuff. And, those are serious business. But sometimes we're just like testing new skins in an arena or something like that. And we just need a little bit of feedback, and it's just like, whatever. We're just getting in there, we're playing the arena, and then we're out. I don't know about you guys, but I am physically incapable of taking an arena game seriously, no matter what. I can't do it. It's not possible.
It depends on the game mode, like the arena game mode.
What do you mean the arena game mode? Like it's just like a regular.
Dude, if the one where you run around comes back, like the one with the track, serious. That's peaks my.
True.
But if it's normal arena or the one where you toss people into halls, troll as much as you want.
It is normal arena. Yeah, it's normal arena.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have to in. I can't not.
Yeah, I think if you're playing with people that you know, then it's fine to int. But if you're playing against like the sweaty tryhard arena players, then winning and tryharding means a lot more. Because like if they're picking like Hell and Nox, and just being super cringy and just running like from their base to the middle of the map, then running back, and never playing aggressively, those are the people I want to stomp and like beat. But if it's like a normal arena game, I don't like get any like excitement until it's like less than like 10 tickets, and I'm like, okay, I actually want to win now. You know, the rest of the game didn't matter, but these final 10 tickets, I actually want to win this now.
That's why you troll as well. You keep it close, and then it gets to
Right.
like 20 tickets each, and then it's fun. Then it's really fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
don't know the last time I won an arena playtest. I don't.
You trolling all the way through, even when there's like 10
Uh-huh.
tickets left.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm
I
reporting
just.
you.
Well, look, I
Okay, here we go.
I am
Uh-huh.
I'm not intentionally dying necessarily, but
Really?
like today, for example, and this is completely unindicative of we weren't testing anything. There's no skin or anything like that. This is a teaser of. I played ROM, and I was building full. I was trying to one shot someone with my ult. I was trying to go Mannequin's Hidden Blade ROM with like Heartseeker, Titan's Bane, Transcendence, Frenzy
Uh-huh.
Bracer, all that kind of stuff.
So very serious playtesting here.
Defensive relics at all on an ADC.
No defensive relics. No, you don't need
Okay,
it.
okay. That's good.
What was my build? Crusher, Transcendence. Well, Mannequins, Crusher, Transcendence. Then I think I went. Did I go Titans third? I might have gone Heartseeker third. And then I went Titans. And then I finished my Hidden Blade. And then we lost before I could buy my 6th item. Yeah, that's right. That sounds about right. But I just
I'm
want.
surprised you lost though.
Yeah, me too. Dude, I almost one-shot someone without either of my relics. I finally hit Hidden Blade, and I went to ult someone. I missed my first shot. I missed my big one, and then I hit the next two, and he was at 5% health. And I was like, bro, if I just hit the first one, he's dead. And I didn't even have my relics, dude. Imagine if I had relics.
Bro, sometimes the first Rama shot's the hardest one.
It really is, because you don't even think about it, right? You're like,
Yeah.
surely I can't miss this.
Yeah.
And then you whiff it. That's what happens. That does happen to me, for sure. I'd say I am the most accurate with the second shot of Rama ult every time. I'm never missing the second one. The third one, I can certainly miss. The first one, sometimes you just let it get away from you.
Yep.
But I'm trying to get everyone. So the culture I'm trying to start is that I want everyone to be aiming to drop a triple-double every game. That's double-digit kills, deaths, and assists in the arena game.
An arena, right? Because it ends.
Yeah, it's an arena. Just get in there. You know?
Not against that.
There's no, we're not worried about the balance. We're not worried about anything else. We're just trying to get in there and have some fun, test what needs to be tested, and that normally only takes like 2 minutes anyways, and then it's just finishing the game. Let's push the boundaries a little bit. Let's come up with some creative builds. My attack speed Guardians have been dominant in playtests. They've been really good.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they've been really good. Britt had a great idea. I haven't run this one yet. One shot with Tusky. Pure ability damage Artemis. I'm going to Frenzy and then Blink. I'm going to have someone Bracer. I'm going to Frenzy, Blink, Tusky. And I'm going to see how much damage it does with someone with Hidden Blade.
So you're roping the team into this as well. Like, you're not just like bringing the team down.
Yeah, that's
you're
what I was
also
No, it's not even
manning
just my
resources.
team, bro, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to make everyone do it. I'm trying to make everyone do it in the entire game. I want everyone to try and drop triple doubles.
You're like an infection.
Yes, in this sense, yes. But it's a positive one, you know? It's like,
Is it?
what's a positive infection? How can I find a positive one?
Fun can be infectious. You're having
Okay.
fun.
True.
Maybe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's exactly
I
what
think it is what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
more... Look, how much fun can you have playing perfectly in arena, you know? Like, coming out of an arena with 0 deaths, is that fun?
No, it's same with the.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, bro. You're the
I will.
guest.
I was going to say, I'm basically talking about you anyway. I was going to say, you can drop like 50k on X-Pal or something like that, and it's a sick game, or a Zeus game, which you should love.
I do.
So that's fun,
But
right?
it's not as fun to me as playing full ability lifesteal King Arthur, getting really low, and then big ulting someone and healing to full in my ultimate, where no one can touch me. That is fun.
Just come down as a new god.
Yeah. A Naja also works, by the way. You build Jotun's Vigor and Soul Eater, and you wait until you're really low HP, and then you ult someone on your Vigor proc, and you heal to full in your ultimate. It is awesome.
It sounds like you're just making like BMT's YouTube videos.
Kind of, but the worse it is, the better. And it's also stuff like I I asked my team today if I could play Tiamat in only grounded stance, or if they would get mad at me, and they said that was too far, so I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's the kind of stuff I want to do. You know, I want to play only. I want to play four-legged Tiamat. Or what was the other one I suggested? Uller in axe stance only. I never switched to bow stance.
That is fun. That is
All
actually
do
fun.
sound like YouTube titles, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I guess.
And you've got to play like 5 games to get one good one so you can upload it.
Right,
That's a
but I'm
big
only
time
playing
investment.
one, and I'm very okay with it being over.
And it's
very
during
quickly.
work hours.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just trying to keep our productivity high. You know, we're playtesting a couple times a day, which is very good. But people got to get stuff done at the same time.
What? Okay, hear me out. So you can buy Hasten Katana on Uller, but you can only use it in the axe stance.
Yeah, that's not how any of that works, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean, he's fast anyway. Do you need that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you kind of schmoo.
Okay.
as
Like
it
he's
is.
on my ass anyway when he's in axe
Yeah,
stance.
but once they jump away, you gotta jump after them, and then you
Right.
can't hit them again, and then it's one thing leads to another, and then aggro's chasing them into their fountain, asking why I can't hit them anymore.
Yeah. I
Wait,
know.
that's a good question. Are you taking fountain damage in these games, aggro? Because that defines the level of trolling a little bit.
No fountain. Well, there was one time I took fountain damage for sure. But Lermy was almost dead, okay? And she was
Okay.
one hit from death. So that one, it was not
Yeah, that's fair.
intentional. I am taking tower damage at least once a game in arena.
You're spawn camping in Arena?
No, I'm chasing someone to their
Oh, okay,
fountain
okay, that's
and
fine.
taking the tower damage. Yeah, no, I'm on the respawn a lot in these games. At one point, one of the QA guys who I really like, I was like explaining, I'm like 1 in 6 in like 5 minutes. And I'm like, don't worry, I'm getting close to my power spike. Like, I said, don't worry, this is a late game build. And I had explained before we had gotten into that game that I do this because no one wants to be sitting in an arena for 20 minutes. Like, no one wants
Oh
that.
yeah, 100%.
And I'm just making sure that doesn't happen one way or the other. And it does not matter to me. And he said, for someone who wants to end the game really fast, and does, your builds are oftentimes really late game builds. And I've really been unable to figure out a way around that. So if you guys have any good ideas for early game troll builds, I'm all ears. That would be good for me.
It'll bring boots back, and then you just skip the boots and go straight to the troll build.
Oh,
I think that's what you're going to do as a designer.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. You just save 1,500 gold.
Maybe I go for the power spike builds, and I only build tier 2s that have like passives on them. And I never buy a tier 3.
It's not that many of them,
what?
right?
Like, what if I just build like Odibo, Warrior's Bane, or like Charged Bow,
Oh, right.
Warrior's Bane. I think I'm out for physicals.
Yeah.
You are trolling. You are doing that, so that's
Yeah.
accomplished.
Look, it's not just about the trolling. It's about having a good time, yucking it up a little bit, trying to make some crazy plays happen. And it's not about trolling. It's about not being concerned with the outcome of the game. That is, I think, the big takeaway.
Here's my therapist question. Are you doing this because you don't want to lose the playtests?
No.
You've got professional background.
That is true. No, I think that for Arena, I actually know the reason I do it in Arena. It's because back in the day when I was playing Season 2 on Xbox, there was no SCL yet, and it was all run by MLG. And part of the MLG qualifier in order to get to MLG New Orleans or MLG Columbus was that you had to play MLG arenas that were for points that really mattered. And so we had to play legitimate arenas that mattered a lot because they affected our land placement.
Wait, was this when there was Ranked Arena, or was this after
No,
that?
this was Season 2. This was after that.
I don't even remember when Ranked Arena was. Was that Season 0?
That was so bad.
I think it was Season 0 or Season 1.
I mean, Season 0, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Season 0. But I obviously hated it. And I have just been unable to take Arena seriously ever since then. I used up all of my I care about the outcome of this Arena game in a very short amount of time. It was like it's like trying to use low quality gasoline in a space rocket. Like it's gonna burn that up as fast as humanly possible,
That's not, so you're the guy that goes right out of the arena base, like at the start. He doesn't go
Oh
to
yeah,
buffs.
and I'm
He's
oh
like,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
me
going to my
buffs.
buffs either. You're
Yeah,
not getting
yeah.
your buffs. No.
Okay.
I don't
That's
do that in the
respectable.
playtests because that gets a little too far sometimes. But if I'm in your arena game, do not think that buff is for free, because I'm gonna be there, and I might be free farm for you, but but someone's
You're
going
not killing
down
the
on that
NPC.
side of the map. Yeah, that is not going for free. How come everyone just decided that the left side arena buffs are their arena buffs?
I don't know.
Isn't that kind of
I don't
weird?
know.
Could work on
It's
changing
been
that, just one game at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
maybe.
been a
Well,
thing
I feel like I'm staking my claim to the right side buffs already.
Yeah, but you VGSing the team, like saying attack right lane in arena?
Yeah, I usually do.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't really attack
You're
right
putting in the
lane.
work then. That's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to change. That's what I mean. I'm trying to change the culture. That's what it's all about. Sometimes it's what you got.
Okay, I just realized
I don't
you
even
can
know
just
why
buy
I've
the.
been talking about this. To be honest, I have no idea how I started here. I blacked out. I don't even know what happened.
Like from working at high res or just this conversation?
This conversation. Why did I start talking about this, you guys?
You were trying to get the whole team to start trolling in the arena playtests.
Yeah. Why? But why did I am doing that? To be clear. But why did I start telling you guys about it? What made my mind think about inting an arena? I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, don't have an answer.
That's
to
way
that
too far back in the conversation. Yeah.
Unlucky. Nothing you can do about that. All right, let's talk about some SPL this week, shall we? Because
yeah.
it was a good week. First 2 weeks of SPL I think have been really awesome. I don't know if I want to go over every single game, but I do have a potentially hot take at the end for you guys. So get ready for that.
Yeah, you tweeted something.
I did.
Right?
I did.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I was inspired by the final set of the week, which was the Jade Dragons versus the Camelot Kings. But overall, I don't think I'm really that interested in going set by set. Friday was pretty much as expected. Camelot Kings 2-1 the Solar Scarabs. So the Solar Scarabs certainly looked good in that set. Jade Dragons kind of dispatched the Oni Warriors. Warriors after a very impressive closeout to week 1 by 2-1ing the Leviathans, what probably should have been a 2-0. They come in, they get 2-0'd by the Dragons pretty swiftly, and then they beat the Valkyries 2-1. I did not get a chance to watch this set a whole lot. Did either of you guys get a chance to watch that Valks Warrior set? And if so, could you give us a quick rundown for it?
Didn't watch either of
watched
the Valkyrie sets this weekend.
That was the Saturday set, right?
Saturday second set, yep.
Yeah, I ended up watching that one. Actually, just like not too long ago, and it kind of just seemed like Valks are just struggling in the macro sometimes on the map, and it just seems like their inexperience is showing often, which, as we talked about earlier, aggro, like, is completely fine.
Yep.
Like, they're competing with the top teams, they're taking games off occasionally, and in my opinion, this is all they need to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, they just need to be making it competitive. I don't care if they're at the bottom 8 seed or whatever. Like, as long as they're making it competitive, that's what they need to be doing. Yeah, like, I think Warriors are struggling a bit more than they should. Because like you said, like, they came off really hot against Leviathans, but I think, yeah, I just think they should have, like, 2-0'd this set. I don't think Benny had, like, his best performance. But Warriors just seem way more cohesive in this whole set, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the Valkyries remind me right now of where the Scarabs were, like, summer split, phase 2 last year. You know, where
That's a good way to put it.
they're winning one game and then looking pretty lost to the other two the most of the time, and they're losing these sets. But in that one game, they're looking really good. And that usually means they're not far off from being able to convert one of those bad games into an okay game that's a coin flip. And then once they get to that point, it means they can convert one of those coin flip games into another good game. And that's all you need to do.
That makes the whole league feel competitive as well, because you don't have, like, even if they don't win a set, you don't have, like, the bottom team not winning a single game as well. At least we're still seeing them win games and give the fans something to, like, cheer for, other than just a normal underdog story.
Yes.
It's really good to see them win games and execute, like, some sometimes interesting strategies as well.
Yes, there was a long stretch last year where Valkyrie sets weren't great.
Yeah, that was just kind of our free win influx, you know. Every time you had a solo set against the Valks that weekend, you're like,
Just
Let's go,
relax. Yeah,
baby.
it'll be just like an off week. It's like, nice. Let's do 3 sets, scrims this week. We'll take 4 days off. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It wasn't. Unfortunately, we couldn't take those off as casters, but
Yeah.
hopefully they were still a little entertaining.
And then the other set on Saturday was Leviathan's Titans.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to study that set a lot, obviously, because we played them the next day.
Yep.
But Titans just seem slower than Leviathans do. I think macro-wise they're a bit behind Leviathans on the map, and I think their picks and bans Titans picks and bans weren't that great into Leviathans. I don't think they were like focusing on what they should have been focusing on. And yeah, it was pretty clean by Leviathans, both games in my opinion.
Yeah, Leviathans looked really good. Sorry, Ro, go ahead.
Just gonna say Titans drafts confused me, to be honest. But I'm just like, first of all, I'm a Cab hater. I hate Cabrakan right now, and everybody keeps picking him. I think Valkyries are picking him as well, which I hate. Which reminds me, I did watch a little bit of their games, but that's relevant now.
Sure.
And then just, I mean, I sound like a Redditor, like a Reddit comment saying this, but like seeing them first pick Umoja twice, and then seeing on the other side of the draft, just seeing 5 dashes or 5 gods that can't get out of Umoja walls, and it's just like, okay, eventually someone's not going to get hit by the shell, and they're going to lose the game. I think that's what happened in, I don't know if it's the end of game 1 or the end of game 2, but like they just caught Paul. They had Fire Giant and everything, so they're like winning the game anyway, but they just caught Paul in a big Umoja roll. He didn't get the shell, and he died.
Yeah, it's pretty important. I'd say. I mean,
Yeah.
Shell better. This like that makes me think. This game 1, is there a carry that could have not gone Aegis? Could they have gone for Shell instead? Like, probably not against dodgy Bologna. You kind of need Aegis.
No, they could have 100%.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, maybe Paul could have.
Yeah, I was also saying, I just remember game 1, Ro brings up a good point. Paul kind of just had like bad positioning a lot in the early mid game. He just got caught out over and over and over again.
Was the first game when he was AMC?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, dude, I remember they were like hard winning. Well, I thought they were hard winning this team fight because I remember Panatom like dashed in on their backline without his ult, got instantly one shot, like he got unlucky and got double crit by a Medusa one, I think. And then like Paul was about to like try to flank Zapman after Zapman was full committing to Cyclone Spin, and Paul just went around this rock for like 6 seconds while Zapman just killed the team, and he's just chasing Zapman around while Zapman wasn't running from him. Zapman was just killing the rest of his team, and it's just like, okay, that team fight's over now.
Sometimes
Unlucky.
that's how it be. Yeah, unlucky. That's all you can say in that situation. Also unlucky that Benji had to play this first game. Let me pull up Sot's exact tweets so that I'm able to read it with perfect accuracy and not say anything different. He said, "Yo guys, I'm a bit sick right now and don't want to get anyone sick at the studio. Also, I got confused on the scheduling, so I missed game 1. My B. I will be on game 2 though." Was the follow-up tweet. That is insane to me. For the record, I do not know how someone gets confused on the scheduling. And speaking from experience on instances where your teammates get confused on the scheduling, it is nearly impossible to refocus. I think that when I was playing, I was someone who, my mental was really good. Like, I did not let how game went impact my next game or anything like that. That was one of my strengths as a player. I have never been so tilted as I was whenever we had to forfeit a game because our sub wasn't available, yada yada.
Yep.
And then we had to play, and then he woke up, got on to play the second game. We were against a team that was winless at the time, and we tried to petition Cooper to let us play with an Anubis bot on easy or let us play 4v5, because we would have won, for the record. 4v5, we would have won that game. And game 2, but we had to forfeit. And then game 2, no one said, I'm not exaggerating, no one said a single word or VGS'd the entire game. Everyone was so mad. Because we knew that we had to win out in order to go to LAN, and so by losing a game, it meant that we couldn't go to LAN, and
that makes it a lot worse. Okay.
Yeah, we did not say a word the whole game. Won in 19 minutes, and everyone just logged off. Like, so I get it. I get this set not looking particularly good for the Titans. I think that is one of the harder ones to mentally recover from, is silly mistakes like that. So it does not surprise me that they did not look like they played their best.
I'm just
I will
confused
say
how that happens, to be honest with you.
Me too.
I will say Benji did look good.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure he
What
did.
did he play? Cthulhu, I think.
Yeah, as per usual, you know, so
Yeah,
shocking.
I mean,
Benji
Benji's
looks
just a goat.
good.
That's all there is to it. Aurora in the chat says
Yep.
Solo got confused because on Sunday the schedule is different. He was up, but he was pretty sick, so he was just resting before our set. All right, fair enough. Maybe I was being a little harsh there, Aurora. I appreciate the clarification, but still, to have a last minute adjustment like that and be able to refocus, I think is a difficult task. But the Titans were able to do it for Sunday. Bounce back and looked pretty good against the Valks. Valks also looked pretty good in this set. It certainly wasn't a full on stomp on Sunday again for the Titans versus the Valks, but in fact, game 2 was a come from behind victory for the Titans, but still able to refocus. Yeah, Aurora said that was the least concerning thing about that week. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I love answers like that. I just wish I had the background information.
Yeah, that is fair. All right, Bolts and Leviathans. Barry, your big game of the week. You kind of rained on my parade here, Barry. I'm always happy when you're doing well. But don't you remember at the end of last week when I said the Leviathans are going to come out of this weekend 2-0? They're going to win both their sets. And I was feeling so good after they 2-0 the Titans. I was like, yeah, I'm going to look so smart. And then you made me look dumb.
I'm sorry. I mean, you should have had some faith in your boy over here.
I'm sorry, he said. Hey, podcast listener. Barry smiled the snarkiest smile I've ever seen a smile snark in my whole life whenever he said I'm sorry right there. I've never known that someone was less sorry in their whole lives than you were in that exact moment.
Yeah, that one felt very good, by the way. That felt very good. I feel like we completely outdrafted them, and then our macro was so clean. And yeah, that just it felt so good.
I know Lasbro got a lot of the attention for how well he played, but holy shit, that 3v3. That's when I felt like when I was on Bolts or even Renegades, when that 3v3 was popping off, that team felt unstoppable. And you would come into the game, you're already 3k up, and you just don't have to you just win the game.
Yep.
And it's so nice, so clean.
Jake as well had a standout performance.
I agree.
This set, and I don't know if many people talked about Jake's impact, but Jake had an absolutely buck wild performance on this set. Also we went into each draft knowing exactly what our win con was and how to play around their win con, and we literally read their draft picture perfect, both drafts. And also I think obviously I'm not gonna we had a big advantage in my opinion watching them play literally the day before, and us being or them being our only set that week is a big advantage because they had 2 sets obviously against 2 top teams, so they have to prepare a lot for both, and then we just had them. So again, not gonna take anything away from us, but in my opinion it was a pretty big advantage. Yeah, we had just read their draft so well, and Jake just controlled the whole pace of both early games, and we got off so many successful ganks and set up so many plays on the map, over and over and over again. And yeah, it's just really good. And then literally on the drive there, I was like, what if I just try out Shadow Steel? I haven't built Shadow Steel literally once this whole year, and I'm like, if they go a healing comp, they're gonna slam the Ardio, and then they're gonna slam the Hell, and of course they're gonna slam the Erlong too. It's got to be good.
Sure, right? You predicted that one too.
Yeah, and I was like, this got to be good. And I didn't do damage to frontline, so I did kill those objectives, though. I did kill those objectives.
You stay killing those objectives, that's for sure.
Something about Spectral and crit, just they're not friends, so I did not do damage. But that's fine. And yeah, game 1, I think we just controlled literally the pace the entire game. That we didn't allow Shinto to have an impact at all, and Lash just controlled the whole early game. And then game 2, our draft is light years better than theirs in my opinion. And then I played pretty sloppily in the early game, in my opinion. I should have never died to the first Erlong gank, because I knew that he was gonna camp me and they were gonna hard swap the way they played from game 1. And then I still died to the gank, and then the one time he came to my purple, I ulted and beads and still didn't get my purple, and I'm like, I'm just sad now. So, yeah, but once we got a team fight stage, we kind of knew that we couldn't lose just because our draft was just so much better than theirs. But
Yeah.
Leviathans are a very like predictable team, just with like what they want to draft and how they want to play the map. So, yeah, we just kind of had their whole playbook.
Well, I can't believe you didn't say you were talking about your advantages that you had this week, and you didn't mention the biggest
here
one.
it is.
Barracuda, which is hold on, let me get a quick drink of my water. Mint Mobile, of course. Barra, it's that you've got the nation's largest 5G network, and you're only paying $15 a month from it. Barrett, your advantage is that you could have called me up on the weekend like you normally do, and say, hey, why don't I just build Shadow Steel? And I would have heard you in perfect quality, and you also wouldn't have needed to add my number to your new phone when you switched over to Mint Mobile, because Mint lets you keep all of your contacts intact and your current phone. There's literally no downside except you get to have more money to make more mistakes with. That's your only downside.
No, you're gonna invest all of that money, and then that money is gonna make you more money. You're not gonna be making mistakes. You're gonna be using that money for profit.
Oh, okay.
See?
But what about when I get rich off of all the money I've saved, and then I make bad life decisions because being rich makes you evil?
I don't think you would ever do that, knowing you. So, in chat as well, and all the listeners out there, they would only make positive decisions in their life that are good for the long run and the short run. So whether that money is going to like groceries that week, maybe a little date night, maybe a little Redbox rental,
Oh, okay, Barry, keep going.
The world is your oyster with that extra money.
And what are some of the Redbox date nights that you and Destiny are enjoying because you guys are Mint Mobile users?
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. Redbox kind of sucks now.
Okay.
The movies.
I thought this was gonna be another sponsor. I thought we were just segueing into another one.
Oh, that's a good idea, Ro. Okay, yeah, I'm writing that one down. I'm writing that one down.
Well, it's too late.
It's nothing against. It's not. Sorry. It's nothing against Redbox. It's just the movies nowadays aren't that great. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm a boomer, but I just don't get excited when I see like the 25th Marvel movie. Or like the scary movies were way scarier when I was younger before, and now there's just like I'm just watching like scary YouTube videos. So I mean, it's nothing against Redbox.
Anything to do with the fact that you were maybe like younger and a child that made those things scarier to you?
No, definitely not.
Okay, great.
I'm still scared of the dark, and I'm 31 years old.
Okay, well, the dark, I'm not very comfortable with the dark either. So
You're right now, Barrow. Don't look behind you.
Yeah, you are kind of in the dark. All right, well, great. We have Mint Mobile as a sponsor, but we have now ruled out Subway by crapping on Subway and Redbox as potential sponsorship. So that's unlucky for us. So because we're not getting sponsorships for them, that means it's even more important that you guys get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped straight to your door for free by going to mintmobile.com/backliners. That's mintmobile.com/backliners. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/backliners. And we are basically eliminating a potential sponsor every week. So it's really important that you guys support the show by interacting with the sponsor that we do have, which is, of course, the unbelievable Mint Mobile. Yeah, overall...
What are your two favorite Ryans?
From your two favorite Ryans, Ryan Bailey and Ryan Reynolds, both of whom approve of Mint Mobile, for sure. Do you think anyone has ever used me in the same sentence as Ryan Reynolds before, besides me? Probably not, right?
I just did.
Besides you or me?
Okay.
Probably not. But that's two's not bad, you know? Two is not bad. I'm taking that.
Let's start from the bottom.
That's true. Oh, yeah. We also ruled out a lot of pizza chains, specifically Papa John's. But I would never take a sponsorship from Papa John's because that dude sucks. And so does his pizza. So that's where I'm leaving it. Hold that, Papa John.
Sorry.
Anyways, final set of the week was the Jade Dragons up against the Camelot Kings. This was a fun set to watch. I caught a majority of this one, mostly the back half of it. I did not see a whole lot of this first game, but seems like Big Man Tings was kind of popping off on the Persephone, as he is known to do from time to time. Persephone looking pretty good as of late in the SPL, I'd say. Benny Q's been playing her, making it look good. Big Man Tings playing her, making it look good. I think that she is... I think that she's one of the better mid laners right now, though that is not my spicy take of the week necessarily. That's still to come.
Yeah, I don't think it's spicy at all, because in like the lands leading up to SPL, she was picked a lot, and with the flat pin build, she literally one taps. Like that god does so much damage, and their ult, in my opinion, most of the time it gets like pretty high value in team fights, especially late game.
Yep.
So yeah, very good character. And I did like game one that Dragons went for the Merc, their like old style of like Merc and ganking duo.
Yep.
Which, yeah, I mean, that's like their identity. So I like that they were trying that. And then as the set went on, we got to see like the Kalina Hebo meta like grow a little bit throughout this set. And I thought that was really interesting as well.
Yeah, Kalina, definitely very good. Feels like one of those characters that you have to have an answer for, and there aren't very many of them. So good luck most of the time that god gets locked in. But it didn't go well with the Persephone Kalina in game 2. Jade Dragons came back after losing that first game with the Mercury and won game 2. This was Pagon. This was the Pagon show. My man was
Mike
just
as well, but yeah.
popping. Yeah, Mike as well.
Sam show in the beginning.
True.
The beginning and mid game, Sam was
got it
hogging.
the game.
Yeah. Is Hebo just like the guy in the jungle right now? I feel like he kind of might be. I feel like that's kind of the guy that I want more than anyone else right now.
I feel like there's a god like once a week, and then like the next week it gets kind of like soft counted, and the third week it's like hard counted after that. Like I remember Kalina week 1 was just like the most OP god in the game, and now we're seeing like she has faults and people are reacting to it. The same thing's gonna happen to Hebo in my opinion.
Fair enough. Well, then I wonder if it's gonna happen to the same god that I'm about to bring up. Game 3, Kings just dominated throughout. This game was never close. They went 11-2. Just complete domination from them. And I think it was really on the back of Genetics' E-set pick. And I think that this god in support just puts pressure on the map in a way that is really, really hard to answer. In that if you let E-set more than any other god that's viable in support right now, if an E-set is picked and you do not pick things to set it behind in your mid 3v3, if you cannot put pressure on the E-set in your mid 3v3, your game is basically over unless they mess up. Because when this god gets to dictate how the engagements start, it feels nearly impossible to come back. I just don't think that you can let E-set dictate the pace of the game from support and hope to beat it, because its tools are just so good at starting fights. If everyone's grouped on her, counter engaging doesn't really work. A circle of protection is really good. She gets super tanky super quickly with this Lono second, which I really like. I think that E-set is a type of... Do I think E-set is broken OP? No. Do I think that it is by far the best support in the game? Probably not. But I do think that it is the type of pick that if it gets picked and you didn't draft with an answer in mind, your game just became really, really, really hard to win. More so than against most supports.
There's 2 gods in the game that do that for me right now, and that is actually E-set and Cthulhu. And I think Cthulhu, at least, we can talk about it because like everybody can see it, so it's like I'm not spoiling anything, and I don't know how Haddix thinks about it anyway. But like Haddix is the only one, in my opinion, in the game, or at least in the SPL right now, that's picking and building Cthulhu correctly. And in that game too, even though like it kind of got a bit wishy-washy, like Barra said, he got picked once. This is his set against Leviathans. And it got to kind of even, but there was just no way they were ever losing that game, because there was not a single answer to Cthulhu, especially with the correct way to build Cthulhu, which is like the stacking health, which was like the OG way to build Cthulhu when Stone of Gaia, I think, was really good. But people don't realize that Haddix has, I think, not base health, but like without ulting, without green buff, without anything else like that, he has about 4k health, like 3.8k or 3.9k or something like that. I can't remember what Cthulhu's base is. with all of his items, and then when you ult, you get 25% more. You have green buff, you get like I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 8 stacks of green buff, and then when you 3, your heal heals everybody for 12% at max rank. And actually, well, hey, Agro, you're a designer. How much do you think Cthulhu heal is healing for like your team with if they're in combat, obviously, and they don't have anti-heal on them, which they didn't have anti-heal in that game, right? Flat number.
A lot across 4 other people.
No, just like how much is the healing one got? Like one of your carries for?
Oh, he's probably healing them for like at least 300.
It's 600.
600. That's
it's a 600 flat heal that nobody had an answer to. They had 25% anti-heal on like a pestilence or something like that. And like Barra's playing Oleron as well. He's not dying when he's getting a 600 flat. Like I think you can get your Cthulhu 3 off like 3 or 4 times or something late game. Barra's not dying at that point.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that game was not losable when because he got 6k health or like 5k health on Cthulhu, and he's healing his team for 600 apiece.
Yeah, that seems hard to lose.
But that's the level I put ESAT at as well, by the way. If you don't have any ESAT, if you don't have anything threatening her in the early game, like make her actually be on the back foot, then she can take over games. I think we did it a lot leading into Worlds. I don't know, talk about Worlds itself. But like we didn't lose a scrim with ESAT leading into last Worlds. It just felt so OP because nobody was countering it at all.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about the lane 2v2 because you're not beating that god in the lane 2v2 like pretty much ever. Drafting to beat it in the lane 2v2 isn't even worth your time.
We saw somebody die on it, right? Inbound died to Capri Medusa lane, I think, against Kings. Was it Kings?
Yeah, I suppose.
And then he had a rough game on it. That was the worst ESET game we saw. Not because like Inbound played it poorly. I'm just saying like if you get behind from the start, then you can be kind of useless. But yeah, if you get ahead on that god, it's crazy.
Yeah, when you get ahead on ESET, it's just like it's just so hard to do anything because she stuffs your engage so well. She engages so well. She's so hard to pick. It's just really, really good. So I think that that is basically the core of my hot take is that I don't know if ESET is the best support in the game, though I'm not shying away from that. It's that if they draft an ESET and you don't get ahead, if you don't set her behind in the early, it's like letting a Hell get ahead or like Kronos getting ahead. You know, these late game gods. It feels very similarly to that in my mind, that it just becomes not impossible, but your percentage to win dips significantly more so than most gods.
So what do you guys think about ESET if you're going Jimmo Isolation after Thebes?
Yeah, not a fan of that.
Great. What about the jungle without beads?
Yeah, that was
a game as well this weekend.
I couldn't believe Scream didn't go beads, man. I just could not believe
he was in my chat when I was watching the games back today, and
what was his defense?
I don't remember what his defense was. Oh, I think it was just like if I don't die in a boar, then we win or something like that.
And also, if a boulder falls through the sky and hits the power out of the studio, then we can also win that game.
Yeah, I was watching the game and he had Blink first, and I was like, okay, he's into like a Hebo, and I don't remember what else it was, and I was like, okay, just gonna go Blink Aegis. And then at 12, he gets Shell, and I'm like, interesting.
That is Umoja, right? Yeah, he wanted to go through Umoja wall. But then he got Umoja 3'd into a Medusa stun, couldn't beads, and died, and the enemy team got Fire Giant and a bunch of Phoenixes. And then I think the next team fight, I think the game was basically over anyway, but the next team fight, they were defending Fire Giant, he got bored and died. And I was like, okay, well, game's over. This is the most impactful deaths you can have in an entire game, and he didn't have beats for either of them, unfortunately.
It seems just insane. It seems very scrimmy, like the ESET jungle. I would like to see like maybe it pop off really well at SPL, but it seems like something where you can just get ganks off all day in scrims because no one really cares in scrims about ganks, and they're like, oh yeah, ESET jungle is coming to your lane, Barra. Haha. Okay, that's
might be able to 1v2. We'll see.
Yeah, like okay, bring it on, buddy. Like, and I just don't know if like the team fight was really like that sick with ESET jungle. I would like to see it some more before I have like a more defined opinion of it. But yeah, definitely interesting to see like teams try a lot of different things. I know we've been seeing a lot of like different ADC picks, different styles, different builds. That sounds like sarcasm, but it's not.
But we're also seeing like Susanoo mid and stuff like that as well. So and seeing the mage jungles is fun. people are saying like the meta is kind of stale right now, and maybe it is in ranked. I'm having fun with ranked, but I don't think the meta is actually that stale. Yeah, the game doesn't look that different from a top down, but when you start to look into like the macro play, or sorry, the micro play and the draft differences between last season, I think it's a way different game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game is pretty significantly different. I mean, Obelisk itself just changes the macro of the game so much in how you want to play the map and that kind of stuff. I'm actually, I definitely, when I think about what I'd want to be saying on cast and that kind of stuff right now, I would love to be able to just like take some of these slow early games and really break down like where teams put pressure ahead of these flower spawns, so that because they know that they're coming, and like look at how different the warding patterns are compared to last year, and like when are we warding, where are we warding, when does that matter, you know, how are support rotations like changing based on these sorts of things. You know, I think all of that is super interesting to me.
It's kind of sort of got over nerfed a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because, well, then again, as a solo lane player in ranked at least, it was kind of rough not having an impact. Like I would get some flowers, the enemy support would steal them, and then the enemy team was, or my enemy solo laner who I've solo killed is ahead of me 300 because the enemy support stolen the obelisk twice. But then again, I could TP to the obelisk and have like a huge impact play, which by the way is the only thing. Well, I don't know, he's not TPing to obelisk, but the only thing Haddix is doing as well. By the way, he's only going TP, which I didn't. Then again, you guys only played 2 games, so I might be wrong, but
Sure.
he's only going TP when everybody else is going blink beads and stuff like that. I think that's like little things like that. The meta is just totally different, and it's a lot deeper. Then again, we're at the start of the season; everyone's just figuring it out, right? So
yes, yeah, I'm sure things will be changing up as the year goes on. That's super troll of me to say because I know what's happening, but things will of course change. They always do. So I'm excited to see what everyone's reaction is this week, because patch notes are in just 2 days from this recording.
Yeah, I've heard that this is a pretty big, like, game-changing patch, so I'm kind of excited. I don't know any details about it, obviously. I've just heard.
I will not react to that at all.
well,
And
you
I
did
will
tweet
not.
that the next patch was going to be big, right? Aggro?
Oh yeah, I did tweet it. Yeah, this one's big.
Yeah.
This one's big. Thank you, Ro. I am allowed to say that.
Yeah.
It's a big patch. I'm very interested to see what the general community reaction is. I've been, you know, and it's actually been extra difficult because this is such a big patch, and we also changed our patch release cycle so that normally patch notes would have been last week, and then it would have been this, you know, last week whatever. This week we would have been waiting still, and then they would go live on what today is the April 11th. It'll go live on the 19th, but we normally would have had the patch notes show the 5th, April 5th, but we're not or the 6th, sorry, on Wednesdays. We have them on Wednesdays. We're not having it until a week. You know, you have to wait less than a week for the patch to go live now. So it's very interesting. Just like, no, I've been sitting on this for so long, and normally I would have been able to talk about it by now, but I got to wait a few more days.
I think it's better.
Like Christmas.
Yeah, it is kind of like Christmas. But it's like Christmas where you don't know if the kids are going to like what you got them, you know? That's the way it feels. I think they're going to like it, but you never know. You never know. Sorry, Ro, you're going to say something?
I'm just going to say I like it in general. Like, I didn't like knowing the patch changes was coming in 2 weeks and just being just like, okay, this god is OP, is going to get hard nerfed, and then people are just spam playing it and ranked until it's going to get nerfed. Like, that kind of stuff is just kind of annoying. But then again, as well, you know, like, oh, this god's getting buffed in 2 weeks. I've never played it. I can just like practice it, and then when it gets buffed, I'll play it. But you can do that anyway. What if you're saying patch notes are going to be on like Thursday or Friday?
I think it is Wednesday. I think patch notes
are
Wednesday.
next. Okay.
Yeah, should be.
And then there's like
the 13th, and then we normally patch on Tuesdays, right? So it'll be the 19th.
Yeah, so 6 days. Any PTS on it?
I don't know what I can say, so I always err on the side of caution. But we will be able to give that info on the patch notes show.
In general, I think it's better than having the information like 2 or 3 weeks old at that point, and then you finally get the patch.
Agreed.
Unless it's like a big patch, like new season or maybe mid-season, but like new season especially, where you want to have like multiple PTS rounds and you want to give your feedback.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, we will see. I think people are gonna like it. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it if we didn't think people would like it. But It's hard to, even with Smite, which is obviously not the world's biggest game, but it's not a small game either, and we have a lot of players, and trying to please all of them is difficult, to say the least. But that's why I've got a job, is to try and figure out what everyone wants.
I think it's impossible to make every role feel good at the same time. And I think Smite players just don't know how to accept that.
Yes and
because
no. Yes and
well,
no.
if a solo laner gets ahead in any game, ADC will never feel good.
Yes.
Like that's just what it is. Like that's like or if like their jungler gets ahead, ADC will never feel good. And if jungle's strong, then ADC is just dead. And I think people need to like be more accepting to their role not being like in the strongest state, because I don't think ADC is in like the strongest state right now, unless you're like playing hard through duo lane. But I think like for the casual like player base, I just don't think that they understand that. Like it's okay for the other parts of the map to be stronger than you, and like in duo, like you can't like smork the 2v2 the whole game, or you get rotated on by the mid jungle. Like that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean like that your role is weak. That just means that you need a mid jungle that communicates to you, or like you need to put out wards. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's why ADC feels weak. Like, or people are complaining about ADC is just like there's so much going on the map. As Rose said earlier, like the macro and micro plays that you're doing around the map are so important that everyone has to do like their job right now, basically.
Right.
And like part of ADC is like farming efficiently and farming effectively. It's like not dying to ganks. It's not like making plays as much. It's more about like playing safe and not dying. So
yeah,
I just
your
think
job
that
is to
people,
click
like,
the tower. You click the tower, you click the fire giant, you click the gold fury, and if you do that, then fine. Like you've probably done what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, like it's okay also to not one-shot late game, because if I'm one-shotting late game, what's the point in playing a tank, you know? Or if I'm like hard farming late game, like same for mages. Like if mages two-shot tanks late game, what's the point in playing a tank if you're just gonna die late game? Like, yeah, I just think.
Sorry to cut
Yeah, you
you
can
off.
go.
That was one question
Good.
I wanted to ask about mages. Like, why aren't many people playing mages? Well, at least in your games. I mean, I can ask you this both because, one, Agro, you're a mage player and a designer, and Barry, you're on a pro team. But like, a lot of hunters mid, and I'm not seeing any mages or any mid laners really talk about it. Maybe they just like playing hunters mid. I don't know.
Yeah, you can go first, Barry.
AMC is just a good character right now. He just does a lot of what you want a carry to do in a team fight right now. Same with like Chiron, we saw Medusa as well.
Leaf as well.
Yeah, and you basically pick it to either counter something in the 3v3 or to have more pressure on their backline, like with the Chiron snipes, obviously. There's just like different jobs right now that you need different roles to be doing. And sometimes mages are like either slightly too unsafe in mid, or you will like want to pressure more through mid than the side lanes that game. So you pick obviously a hunter in mid. Yeah, it's very like gray area, I would say, for why you're picking a certain thing. It's not like, well, I would say like AMC is like pretty strong right now. I think everyone knows AMC is pretty strong right now.
Right.
But outside of that, it's like you're counter picking, or like we saw last game in the King set, like the Neath Hebo combo on side lanes, and like you're just picking like we're gonna shoot this guy and he's gonna die, like or we get his beads and he's and it's that's terrifying, bro.
I love playing that build at the very least. I don't know about playing again.
You get just an arrow coming towards you and just like, where's my spot? Well,
yeah,
where's my spot? It's like somebody can eat it because it's gonna hurt like 800, 900 damage in one shot.
Oh, it feels so fun to play, man. I love playing that build. Yeah, for me, I think in general, something that I am a big proponent of is really thinking critically about why are we giving the characters who are getting the farm and what do they do with it. And that's why I think like the style the Kings are playing right now makes so much sense to me. Like the Sobek and Xingqian solo, like how many warriors do what Sobek and Xingqian do with that amount of farm? It is a short list. And unless that you think the other team is going to punish you for not being able to, the reason that they don't get played every game is because of their laning and their fight potential and their rotation potential and all that kind of stuff. But the Kings intentionally play the map in a way to facilitate those slower laning styles. And I think that when, just thinking about as a backliner, like when do I have the least amount of fun playing the game? It's when their support is the same level as me. We're both level 11. Like if I'm a level 11 Merlin and that guy's a level 11 Sobek, there is no point in me playing the game because they're going to do more damage than me and they're going to have more CC than me and they're tanky. So, and that's what Smite is. And I think that that's good. You know, like frontliners being able to deal damage is a pillar of the game, in my opinion. If they don't need to deal, am I saying they need to deal as much damage as they're dealing now or something like that? No. But they can't do no damage. I think that is a key differentiator between us and other games in the market.
At least you can't have both of your frontliners doing no damage. Like you can have an ESET support which does very little, and then you have like this hard winning solo laner, for example.
Exactly. So thinking about what types of characters can they, it's two questions for me. Can they compete for the farm in the proper way for what our lane dictates it needs? You know, in solo lane, it's being able to box and contest your blue effectively and fight 2v2 with your jungler. If your character can't do that, then it's probably not worth playing in solo. And do I get paid on the amount of farm that I'm giving them, or do they need that much farm? ESET's a really good example of a god that can do what ESET wants to do without the amount of farm that she needs and that she gets in mid. And that's why she's great in support, because she can do her job with less income. And so trying to find these areas where can I find a god that is better suited to the amount of farm I'm giving them, or a different style of god than how I'm getting it on you know, just because I've played mages in mid forever. I think Susano and Tsukiyomi and Set in mid, like, yeah, if I've got a support who's going to be able to help me clear the wave and protect me as I step up and facilitate me on a dive, like, yeah, that character is going to do more with the farm that I'm giving them and getting them more involved on their opportunities. That all makes a lot of sense to me. There's really a roundabout way of me saying that certain hunters can contest the farm in a way that a mage can, and that they are higher clear. And then you get paid on having another hunter by your siege potential later on in the game. I think that is a key, because I think of what's the difference late game between an AMC and a Tiamat, and it's that I'd rather have an AMC if I'm trying to like burn a fire giant or get a tower, you know. And that consistent damage is what makes a big difference. So I think, in my personal opinion, not representative of the Smite design team in any way, for me, I think that it is always a good thing to have a few hunters or assassins or warriors or whatever it is be viable to do a specific strategy in the mid lane. If AMC is just the best mid laner, that probably isn't ideal, but at the same time, he can just be a mid laner, right? He doesn't need to be a duo laner.
I think it's a healthy god to have good anyway, because he has counters. He's not that mobile. Yeah, he's fast, but like he can be dove pretty easily. You can one shot like a frontliner in front of you with AMC ult, but like a Snaplock Cthulhu into an, like, I think, wait, we saw it in your set, like Barrett, like when they're first picking AMC, you Snaplock Cthulhu. One, unless he builds like Brawler's Hardseeker or something like that, you really don't care about him that much. Unless you're getting ulted in a CC before you get in your ult, for example. But like, you know, a god like that has really available counters, especially a god that's been around so long, like AMC, where everybody knows of the counters already. I think it's perfectly healthy, even if sometimes, I mean, the only bad thing about it is you're forced to react. Like, oh, it's an AMC mid again, I have to play this answer to it. I'm so bored of playing this answer to it. That's the only time it gets bad, and that's just when the god's been in meta too long, which isn't the case yet, in my opinion.
Right, and it's also that's like not even, that's very god specific. You know, if we're just talking about like hunters in mid or physicals in mid or whatever it is, it's like, what if AMC were released today? How in this exact state, if no one had ever heard of AMC before, never played the kit, we release him in patch 9.4, he probably gets played in mid way more than in duo. like
Mhm.
in his current iteration. I think people with today's understanding of Smite look at that kit and say, this is a mid laner kit. He's a physical mage. And I think that that is just what he is suited to do. He wants the shorter lane. He wants help in the mid game. He wants to be aggressive. And all those things make him a physical mid laner in my mind. That's the way I view it. So I agree that I'm surprised at how many hunters mid there are. I think that it might mean that mages are a little weaker than I thought, but I don't think that they're super weak by any means.
No, I just want to make a quick note on that. It's
Yeah.
because mage jungles are strong-ish right now. So you can get the magical damage that you're normally missing in a readily available slot in your team comp.
Right.
Which I don't think that we're even close to like a hunter mid being super OP meta right now. It's just because you have the easily available mage jungle options. As well as the mages in duo don't get like absolutely blasted in comp. In ranked, they do. In comp, they don't. So, yeah, it's just a different world. But yeah, it's not like the old metas of like, oh, they picked Uller mid. I have to pick a high pressure hunter here, or we just completely lose the early game. They invade all of our red buffs, and we just lose the game. It's not even like that point.
Yeah, and it's also
I don't worry about that.
I just did a quick count. There were 6 individual games where it was mage versus mage, and I didn't count, but I think there might have only been one hunter versus hunter matchup in mid. It was mage versus hunter was the most popular matchup in the mid lane, and I personally don't see a problem with that. I mean, you look at League, it's very they've got. It is a constant discussion of, are we going an AP jungler or an AP mid laner? Because you always want to different, you don't want to be the same there. But they have tons of viable mage jungles and tons of viable assassin or hunter mids. And they've got a ton of viable mages in mid and a ton of viable physical assassins in jungle. So, well, I wouldn't say a ton. Their viable champion pool in competitive play is a fraction of what Smite's is.
They've always had the most insane, I think Dota 2 had maybe similar to Smite at some point, but I mean, Smite's the only competitive game that I've seen, apart from the games that have 20 champions, of, champ heroes, whatever you want to call them. Smite's the only game where almost the entire god roster is being picked throughout the year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I do wonder about that. I wonder if it is because our characters are closer in power level, if our pros are more open to experimentation, if League pros are more stubborn, or if Smite had the amount of money and resources that these esports teams have, I wonder if it would go the same way. I wonder if that amount of pressure and need to do the thing as perfectly as possible facilitates homogenization in that way. That's something I've thought of a lot.
I would say it's a mix of all of them, honestly. Because I do think Smite's professional scene is very unpolished, even though it is very competitive right now. I think if there was a lot more, if I had 4 coaches, there would definitely be a different atmosphere, or if the team had a chef and literally everything was taken care of outside of playing the game, and all you did was have to think about the game, and your coach is forced you to watch VODs and forced you to do everything to a double degree basically. I think that Smite professionally would be way different, which I do think in its current state is a lot of fun to watch, just because I think the current SPL teams are scrambling right now, which they don't know how to macro, they don't know how to micro, our team included. Because I think, as you said earlier, the alba has completely changed how you play the map and what you value on the map, and I don't think anyone really knows how to do it perfectly yet. So yeah, I think that a lot of the issues that Smite Pro teams are running into would not be happening, and I do think there would be a very defined meta as well.
Interesting. Ro, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I was gonna say, I don't pay too much attention to these other, like, especially like League of Legends patch notes, but I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong if you pay more attention to them, but I'm pretty sure Smite is more heavy-handed in changes, which I like.
Yes, they are.
So
Or
that
we
is
are.
also a thing as well. Like if you take the year over the whole year, there's going to be a lot of changes throughout the year that are heavy, and they're going to shift metas completely. Especially like mid-season, where you see like a whole new roster of gods come in. You know, that adds a big number of those gods coming into the play instead of, you know, just having a one meta for the entire year that aren't getting changed that much.
Yeah, and Genetics in chat says that he thinks a certain top gods do ruin it in comp for widespread picks like Artio, Erlang, and Umoja. And I understand that point for sure, but at the same time, Artio, Erlang, and Umoja equivalents in League have been Artio, Erlang, and Umoja for the last like 6 years. Like, Leona has been viable forever. Nautilus has been viable forever in their current iterations of their kits. And I'm not, okay, this is going to come off sounding a lot more negative than I mean it to, but those pros have just, I feel like, from the outside looking in, and I watch a good amount of their esports, I listen to their interviews, you know, I follow it pretty closely because I think it's interesting. I don't hear a lot of supports being like, gotta pick Thresh again, you know? It's like, yeah, I was stoked we got Thresh because we had Aphelios, and that's like a really good combo, and people have been playing Thresh Aphelios since Aphelios released. Like, that's just what you know, that's just what it is. And I think that I personally think that it's the amount of money on the line and the insistence on, if you go in and you lost because the other team outplayed you and there were some mechanical mistakes, that's on the players. But from an organizational standpoint, I think because in that culture, the League culture, it seems like the coaches have a lot of power when it comes to picks and bans in particular. Like for Cloud9, when they hired LS, it was like, LS is going to do all of the drafting. He is going to talk to the players about what they want to pick, but at the end of the day, it is LS's call what they pick. Ro, I assume that's not how it was for you guys. I haven't heard of any Smite team that operates in that way.
I've had teams where they've just like wanted to elect one person just to have the last say. So I've done that before, but that wasn't the case in the Bolts. That might have been the case on the Renegades when we were going through some like really bad times where we just needed to simplify anything and get back to like the really, like, those were some sad times. But I didn't have that on Energy, and I didn't have that on Knights either. So no, I don't think there's any coach in Smite that just controls drafting completely.
Right.
That I know of, at least. I haven't spoken to coaches recently, but yeah, I doubt they're doing it. Mostly it's just the players. And I would also argue that draft is less important in Smite than it is in like League of Legends. I think execution is more important in Smite than it is in League of Legends.
Yeah, I agree. League of Legends is a much more lane-centric game. It's a much more punishing game. Comebacks are much harder.
It's harder to hit abilities in Smite as well. So like, it's much more important to have your player on a god they're really good at it than have the most ideal god in that situation. Obviously, best of both worlds would be great, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that the nature of the game of League of Legends and it's like in traditional sports when your team goes out there and you lost because they dropped a pass or they missed a shot. What are you going to do about that? You know, you can't change that. But if your game plan sucked, then the organization is going to fire the coach because they're in charge. And I think that because the money is more similar, the structure is more similar. And that leads to more homogenized picks. That they are not willing to risk their own jobs and jeopardize their team's success by being a little bit more. You know, I'm not saying they never experiment, but if Jinx is open, they're taking Jinx. You know, that's all I'm saying.
It's also the case of just like you can't make everybody happy as well. Like this player that likes this god that's good for 6 years is going to be happy about it, right?
Yep.
And I guess we're talking to Genetics, who, to be fair, just wants to play Horus, and he's just mad that Horus is better in solo lane, which is a fact, it's a flat fact. And he can play his Nuwa support and ranked, and that's it.
Nuwa undervalued, by the way. I'm a big fan of the Nuwa personally, but maybe not in support. That's I think I can leave that one behind. All right, we've been going for a long. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Barry.
Oh, sorry.
No, please.
I was going to say new IDC. You know, it's got to be good.
Emilito back.
The old Emilito special, baby.
True.
The old
We're
Emily.
gonna lose lane anyways. Lock in Nua.
Speaking of my old Xbox days, my former teammate Uzi in solo, he used to always want to play Nuwa solo, and when we'd say, Uzi, that's really bad, he'd say, what do you mean? I can't get zoned. I just fog from my tower, and I still get the XP and gold. And
I hate when people come up with arguments like that, and you're just like, that's not even what I'm talking about.
Uzi is the king of those arguments. I love that guy, man. I love him so much. The way he thinks about the game is just so different than anybody else. He once was convinced that this was all season 2 and on Xbox, so take it all with a grain of salt. But he was convinced that Zhonghui solo was OP because, and I quote, I have 2 auto attacks, so I take the tower twice as fast. There you go.
Has he thought about coaching?
You'd have to ask him.
You will.
I think that, if you're, dude, I'm telling you, an SPL team should have picked him up last year, man. When it was the Nike RDO Cthulhu meta, Uzi is the happy. He is as happy as a pig in mud whenever he gets to play RDO Cthulhu Nike every game.
He did all right in play-ins, right?
Yeah.
So
when it's his meta, he's gonna slam. If it gets to like Osiris meta, you're host.
King Arthur.
Nope. But
Nike has to be the most boring god in Smite.
Well,
has to be.
Well,
maybe.
Like if I had to rate them, it's Nike, and then like
wait, this inspired me for a troll arena idea. What if I build full movement speed Nike and I just see how far back I can push someone with my 2?
That's actually pretty good.
Thank you. That's what I'm bringing to the playtest, boys. That's what I'm bringing.
That's the arena with the holes in it, though. That's the one you have to playtest.
Yes, that would be good.
Save it for that at least.
I should also clarify, by the way, don't go into your actual casual arena games and then say I said it was okay. Please don't do that. I don't want to read that Reddit post. It's just gonna be bad. Don't in your arena games. Play with some friends. Do a suboptimal build. Try to win, but don't be so worried about the outcome of the game. That's my official advice. You know?
I just realized you're like hawked up right now, dude.
I kind of am, huh? Go Hawks. We're playing on Wednesday in the play-in. Do or die game at home against the Charlotte Hornets. I will not be going, but I want to be. But I'm not going to be. But I want to be. Anyways, it's time for our random question of the week that I definitely have not thought about at all.
Most boring god in Smite.
Well, random question of the week has never been Smite related, Bera. It's kind of against its
sorry.
brand.
Sorry, guys.
It's Bakasura, by the way. But
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. What is my random question of the week? Okay. I've got one.
Okay.
It is my grandma's birthday today. Shout out to my nunny. She's getting a year older. I'm saying it that way because I never remember anyone's age, and it's horrible, and I know it. But I'm just so bad at remembering people's ages.
Same.
But it's her birthday today, and I really identify with her because she is a natural troll. Like, if she was born in our era, she would be an internet troll for sure. She would be posting the most insane thoughts on Twitter all the time. And to give you an example, my family is, she has three children, one of which is, of course, my mom. And they're all very worried that she is very forgetful. She's getting more forgetful. It's a common thing to worry about when people get older. And very sad. But in Nuni's case, she's just trolling. Like, she'll intentionally forget things. And then if we're at a dinner or something like that, and they'll be like, "Hey, Nuni, what's this?" She'll be like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't remember." And then they'll turn and whisper because my family's super into gossip. They turn and whisper "Oh my God, she forgot something again." And she'll look over and she'll just wink at me real quick. And then to the point where my family made her take a dementia test with her doctor, made her schedule one.
Oh no!
And then she aced it. And then she laughed at them afterwards. And my mom was like, "How did she do so well? She forgets everything." And I was like, "Mom, I've been trying to tell you not to worry. She's trolling you. She's just being a troll." And I love that about her. And I really see where I get my want to run around with pure ultimate damage Rama in an arena playtest. Like, so I see
when
myself.
When your coworkers complain about it, it's in my blood.
It's in my blood. There's nothing I can do about it. Do you guys have a family member like that you identify with in a, not necessarily in a trolling way, but that you go, oh yeah, I know where I got that aspect of me?
Oh, well, I have two. One for my mom, one for my dad. My mom's compassion and
oh, that's nice.
kindness. I think I definitely carry that a lot because I just have a lot of patience for situations I probably shouldn't have patience for, and same with people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm always trying to see like the kindness in people and like, oh, it's not their fault, they're X or Y, like that's just how they are. Like I shouldn't hold it against them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say I think my dad has a very good way of communicating with people.
Mm.
And I think I definitely got that from him, where he's stern enough to make you see the point, but also says it in a nice enough way to where you're not like offended by it.
Mm.
And it's like it's not like the ugly truth, but it's like the truth that you need to hear
Sure.
to better yourself.
Mm.
And I definitely have both of those like mixing together in my conversations. That as I get older, I'm more aware of how I talk to people and like what I say, and I definitely see like a lot of them in me.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see as I get older.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I've got one like that too, but I'll let Ro go first.
I think I relate most with my dad on two major things. One is when things are outside of your control, it's really easy. He like watching him growing up. He would if it's out of his control, he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even if it's a bad thing that's happening to him, like he had a very mild stroke recently, and he told me about it like 2 weeks later, and
Dude.
it happened while he was driving, and he just kept going, and
Wow.
like which is not good.
No,
and then,
that's not what you're supposed to do.
And his arm has been tingling like ever since. And he went to the doctor and like, yeah, you had a mild stroke. You can't drive for 3 weeks and stuff like that. And he just like doesn't care. It's like, well, he talking to me. He's like, well, you can't do anything about it. Like, what? It's like I could tell you about it, but there's no point being sad about it because it happened. It is what it is. You just life goes on type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that I like from him, even though that situation sucks. One thing I don't like from him is you were talking about remembering names earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I have like the very short term where when my dad would talk to my brothers, or me and my brothers growing up, if we're all in the same room, if he's trying to talk to one of us, so he's trying to talk to me, Daniel is my name, and my brother's name is Stephen, Matthew, and Michael. He would always, if he's trying to talk to me, he goes through every single name before he gets to me. So if he's trying to say something to me or get to my attention, he's like, Stephen, Michael, Matthew, Daniel. I do that to everybody, and I do if I'm looking left and I'm talking about something that's left, I'll say right. I don't know why. And it was really bad if I had to shot call in Smite as a jungler, like back in the day. I was saying I'm ganking left, I'm in solo lane in the right lane, and my solo laner has no idea I'm there. Like I don't know why that happens, but yeah, so it's a thing with the brain.
That's so
maybe
cool.
I had a mild stroke. I don't know. But yeah.
That is very funny. Yeah, that's very funny.
But other than that, I think I'm very, very different to most of my family. There's a reason. Like I love them all. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to see them again. But there's a reason I'm literally on the other side of the world, doing playing video games when none of them play video games and they've never left Australia. So
Right.
other than my dad's like traits like that, I don't get much.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm very much like my dad as well. Joe points it out to me all the time, which I'm very happy about because I think my dad owns. But my dad is very slow in everything that he does. He speaks very slowly. He's very thoughtful to a point where when we would go to a grocery store when I was younger, he would have to look at the differences between two different taco shell brands for like 5 minutes. He would just stare at both
I
of them.
respect that.
And he would have to get the right one. And I definitely have a lot of that in me. But I feel like I get almost every single one of my personality traits from my dad and also the way that I think. But I get my speed and my passion from my mom. My mom is like the fiery, like wears her heart on her sleeve, like all, will get in your face if she's mad, will be really happy when she's happy. Like she's just all energy and like passion. And my dad is like very calm, like doing his thing. He needs everything to go at his pace. None of you will be surprised to hear that their marriage did not last very long, but it's because they're total opposites. And I think that I've just like, I'm such a weird mix of these two complete opposite things that that is very funny. They are also both the two most chronically late people of all time. I am also chronically late, but far better than them, and I think that's a miracle. They are 30 minutes late to everything at least. I am consistent. You can always count that I will be exactly 2 minutes late to anything. I will not be more than 5 minutes late, but I will be 2 minutes late. And I think that type of reliability is good.
In scrims that was late, and then it's like, well, the enemy team's going to be late anyway. Was that you?
No, I'm the guy who's there 2 minutes afterwards and saying like, oh, sorry.
So the other team saying that. Aggro's going to be late anyway. It doesn't matter.
But only by 2 minutes. I'm going to be there 2 minutes. If we're scrimming at 11, I will be there at 11:02 on the dot.
Okay, that's not bad. Not bad.
Guaranteed. I'm not missing it. That's my unreliable reliability, as I like to call it. All right, well, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you give us a rating, all that kind of stuff. Ro, thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show. Always great to have you. We will be back next week to talk about patch notes, which are a big one. A new god is coming out. Maybe it is Lermy's first god, which I'm really excited about. I've been playtesting Yu Huang a lot, and he is a ton of fun. And I can't wait for everyone to get their hands on him. So I think that I'm going to try and get Lermy on here at some point to talk about good old Yu Huang. You know what's messed up about Yu Huang, by the way, is that I decided that name's too difficult to say in the middle of a fight. So I started calling him Hugh because it's kind of like in between, right? Instead of saying Yu Huang, I was like, just that's Hugh's 3 or whatever, like that's Hugh's ult, whatever. Then
I'd probably go with
it was really working, and then we hired a new designer.
Oh no!
Named Hugh. Like the next week, and I was mad. I was mad because I'm really glad to have Hugh on the team. He's dope.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can't call you. Now I got to go back to saying Yu Huang in the middle of the team fight, and that's it. It isn't as natural to me. It made me mad. I want to call him Hugh.
Knowing pro players, they're calling him Hugh.
Right, Hugh's it's good and short. You're not going to mess it up.
I'm calling him Yong, bro. There's no way I'm saying Hugh.
Hugh
is so hard to say for me.
What?
It's like calling Hu Yi, like, I just call Hu Yi.
Oh.
Wait,
that's not that. That's fine.
I guess that's fine.
But Hugh, that's not that.
Saying like who, like that's just not gonna sound great.
You're not an owl, Para. It's Hugh.
No, Hu Yi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks. Okay, guys.
That's
thank
fine.
you.
Okay, but what are you gonna call Yu Huang?
It's Yi and Yang, bro.
Okay,
Hu Yi and
no one's ever gonna get. You're gonna be fine. Watch the first time the Bolts play against Yu Huang. It's gonna be a nightmare.
It is. It's gonna be terrible.
They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know who to hit. That's
something must be happening in their comms. They're just not playing right.
They're not playing around this Yu Huang at all.
We had to rename Morgan to MILF, like MLF, because Morgan and people somehow got confused, even though they were never on the same team.
They're never on the same team. They're barely ever in the same game. That's what I'm saying. How do you need to?
Well, we named it MILF. I don't know. I'm not the guy that came up with it. I'm just the guy that has to say it, because that's what we say.
Who came up with it?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
it infected comms.
It might have been someone outside of the team, but otherwise I think it was Haddix.
I was going to say that's a Haddix. That I would be shocked if it wasn't Haddix.
You guys, do you still call Guan Yu Goon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a good one. That's because
I can't
pronounce Guan.
Yeah, that's last.
Yeah.
That's how he normally says it, so.
Yeah, let us know what Last decides to call Yu Huang. Then
that's actually good.
Yeah,
that's
that'll be good.
Yeah, that's gonna be the worst comm day we ever have, bro.
That should be good. If nothing else, get excited for Yu Huang's release just to hear the content from the Bolts about it. Make sure to check it out, mintmobile.com/backliners. Again, you get great wireless service for just $15 a month. And we'll see.
And free dates.
And free dates. Don't forget about that. I think, Bera, you know what to do.
Bye.
Clean.
Oh, that was such a good one.
Yeah,
that was so
clean.
good.
Good work.
Thank you.